Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to BhagavatSanga program. This is our Srimad Bhagavatam program where we read prayers of pure devotees. The current theme is prayers of Nalakuvara. These are wonderful prayers from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 10, verses 29 to 38. Today we have a wonderful devotee, Nalini Mataji, who will be presenting the verses and her realizations. Hare Krishna Mataji, over to you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna devotees. Just start with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jadaya Mudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunimilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Kam karoti vachalam pangam langaite girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. Hare Krishna. I'm going to talk about prayers of Nalakuvara and Manigriva today. We'll be mentioning about two verses in that. So before going to the prayers, I just want to give brief introduction about the pastime of Nalakuvara and who are they. Nalakuvara and Manigriva, they are the demigods, sons of the rich Kuvera. So how being very rich, so how they got proud of themselves and how they fall into the trap. They have been intoxicated, and because of their riches, because of the false prestige, they were enjoying with the women. And when Narad Muni was passing through, they didn't care about the great sage, and how they got cursed by Narad Muni to become trees. So here from this pastime we can understand like how if we have that ahankara, the false prestige, how we disrespect the devotees, and how Narad Muni, being a great sage, how he has cursed them. Even that's a special mercy given by the Vaishnavas. Even the curse is also becomes a great mercy. So how that is a great mercy also we see from this pastime, that they could be able to see the Lord face to face. So here Prabhupada says, like when a father finds the child deeply asleep, the child, I mean, if they have to give medicine, they'll pinch the child and the child takes the medicine even in the sleep. So like that, being a supreme father and a great sage Vaishnava with mercy, Narad Muni wanted to give the punishment to these demigods, like how they can realize because of the false prestige, how they acted and have been intoxicated without caring the spiritual master. Yeah, we just so I just wanted to quote here the song of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, where he says, Tumara charana bina kichu dhana samsare na acheyara Bhakta Vinoda jada vidya chad tuva pada kore sar. So the translation goes like this: Oh Lord, there is no treasure worth seeking in this world other than your lotus feet. Bhakti Vinoda abandons all his mundane knowledge and makes your lotus feet the sum and substance of his life. So thing mentioned here is because we think we have so many riches, we are proud of ourselves. Sometimes our material education and the riches we have, we have this false prestige and pride that we don't see what's with us, what Lord has given us. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur says that because of these riches, we are like this. So sometimes it's good to be under poverty so that we can realize, because if we are under poverty, we depend on Lord for everything, for food, clothing, shelter. So we always depend on him. Sometimes the material opulences are hindrance to the path of bhakti. So when Bhakti Vinod Thakur prays that he wants to leave all these material opulences and want to always surrender at the lotus feet of the Lord. So we are responsible for our actions. So material nature, it arranges such that we get such a punishment. So the nature corrects. So if we hear from acharyas, like how we hear about Lord and his pastimes through Bhagavatam, if we hear about the pastimes, we understand what our acharyas are telling us, and if we follow the instructions of our spiritual masters, the Guru Parampara, we come into that senses. Otherwise, we are just with our false ego, false prestige, and we act away from Krishna. So it's a special mercy. If we stick on to Vaishnavas, they give us that special mercy. Even the punishment becomes a special mercy. That's what Narad Muni showed here. That he wanted to give them punishment, but ultimately they both Manigriva and Nalakuvara had to see the Lord. So they were cursed to become trees, Arjuna trees, and for 100 years of the demigod's life. Years of the demigods. So after they were trees in the backyard of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, this house. So once they saw Krishna, and we all know about Damodara pastime, where the mortar was stuck onto the belly of Krishna and he was crawling in between the trees, and how he uprooted, and both of them, both the trees were uprooted and they became Manigriva and Nalakuvara, and they got to see the Lord face to face. So they started praying. So they understand. And one more thing which Narad Muni gave that special mercy is they were able to remember their sinful action throughout their life as trees. So once they saw the Lord, they understood. They thanked Narada Muni also that he has granted them to see the Lord face to face, and they thanked him and they started praying the Lord. So just want to share. Just start with the verse 32. गृह्यमानैस्त्वाम् आग्राह्यो विकारै प्राकृतैर्गुणैः को मे अर्हति विज्ञातुं प्राक्सिद्धं गुणसंवृतः. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Lord, you exist before the creation. Therefore, who trapped by a body of material qualities in this material world can understand you? As it is said, Atah Shri Krishna Namadi Navaved Grahyam Indriyai Sevon Mukehi Jihvadav Swayam Eva Spurati Adaha. Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.34. Krishna's name, attributes, and form are absolute truth, existing before the creation. Therefore, how can those who are created, that is, those entrapped in bodies created of material elements, understand Krishna perfectly? This is not possible. But Sevon Mukehi Jihvadav Swayam Eva Spurati Adaha. Krishna reveals himself to those engaged in devotional service. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 18.55 by the Lord himself. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Even the descriptions of Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam are sometimes misunderstood by less intelligent men with a poor fund of knowledge. Therefore, the best course by which to know him is to engage oneself in pure devotional activities. The more one advances in devotional activities, the more one can understand him as he is. If from the material platform one could understand Krishna, then since Krishna is everything, Sarvam Kal Vidam Brahma, one could understand Krishna by seeing anything within this material world, but that is not possible. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina matstani sarva bhutani na chaham teshvavastitaha. Everything is resting on Krishna and everything is Krishna, but this is not to be realized by persons on the material platform. Yeah. So here Prabhupada mentions that, like, example, I remember one example, like if we are part of this material world and we are contaminated by the material and material nature, so we can't understand the Supreme Lord. Like if a person in the ground floor can see, only the person in the top floor can see the person what he's doing in the ground floor. So who is away from the material contamination only can guide us, can get us away, get us out of this material engagements. So here the Lord who has created, but he is aloof from this material energy. So we can't understand Krishna. Only we should take guidance from our spiritual master, who is a pure devotee, who is outside of this material contamination. They can only guide us, and and Krishna reveals to those who are engaged in the devotional service. Only through devotional service we can understand Krishna. That's what here Prabhupada mentions, that we can't understand Lord and his pastimes because our knowledge, we have less intelligence. We don't have that knowledge. So only through pure devotional activities. So that pure devotion, I remember what Krishna said in Bhakti Yoga, like who can understand him? Only if we put our mind, if we worship, always put your mind on me, worship me. So Krishna gives who is dear to him, who is very dear, who is in his heart, the pure devotee. How one should be, what one should do. He clearly explains in Bhagavad Gita. So here also Prabhupada quotes on Bhagavad Gita 18.55. Only through devotional service we can understand, through pure devotion. Yeah. And I remember Bhakti Yoga where the Lord says, right, what should be the qualities of a pure devotee? Adveshta Sarva Bhutana, right? All those qualities he explains. So we should see the qualities. We should understand the qualities of a pure devotee, and we should strive for it. Through relationship, through mercy only we can do devotion. It's not just mere namesake activities. Only through the real knowledge. So Krishna gives so many options, like fix your mind. If you can't fix your mind, at least engage in the devotion, engage in, I mean, do work for me. If you can't even do that, uh, give the fruits of your actions to me. If you can't even do that, at least do sacrifice, do austerities, get the knowledge. So he gives so many options, and ultimately through knowledge, through hearing, we can understand, and we can fix our mind on Krishna. So such a person is very dear to him. Only then we can really understand Krishna. I just want to let another verse in interest of time. तस्मै तुभ्यां भगवते वासुदेवाय वेदसे आत्मद्योत गुणैश्चन महिम्ने ब्रह्मणे नमः. O Lord, whose glories are covered by your energy, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are Sankarshana, the origin of creation, and you are Vasudeva, the origin of the Chaturvyuha. Because you are everything and are therefore the Supreme Brahman, we simply offer our respectful obeisances unto you. So here Manigriva and Nalakuvara seeing the Lord face to face, so they're glorifying the Lord. So they're saying he is the origin of creation, he's Vasudeva, he's everything. So they're offering their respects. And instead of trying to understand Krishna in detail, it is better to offer our respectful obeisances. For he is the origin of everything and he is everything. Because we are covered by the material modes of nature, he is very difficult for us to understand unless he reveals himself to us. Therefore, it is better for us to acknowledge that he is everything and offer our obeisances unto his lotus feet. So here I remember like how Arjuna saw the universal form. So we can't see the Lord with our eyes, with our vision. We can't understand. Only Lord has to give. So even to Arjuna, Lord says that I am giving divine eyes to you so that you can see me. Because in Kurukshetra, everyone is present. Not everyone can see the Lord. Only we can't, with our imperfect senses, we can't understand the Lord. Only by mercy of the Lord, by mercy of the Acharyas, we get to see. So here Prabhupada says that unless Lord reveals himself, we can't. So just we can offer our obeisances unto the Lord's lotus feet. यस्यावतार ज्ञायन्ते शरीर्ष्वा अशरीरिणः तैस्तैरतुल्यातिशयैर्वीर्यैर्देहिष्वसङ्गतैः स भवान् सर्वलोकस्य भवाय विभवाय च अवतीर्णोंस भागेन साम्प्रतं पतिराशिषाम्. Translation. Appearing in bodies like those of an ordinary fish, tortoise, and hog, you exhibit activities impossible for such creatures to perform, extraordinary, incomparable, transcendental activities of unlimited power and strength. These bodies of yours, therefore, are not made of material elements, but are incarnations of your Supreme Personality. You are the same Supreme Personality of Godhead who have now appeared with full potency for the benefit of all living entities within this material world. Stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.7 to 8. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir-bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrujamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanardhaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Krishna appears as an incarnation when real spiritual life declines and when rogues and thieves increase to disturb the situation of the world. Unfortunate, less intelligent persons bereft of devotional service cannot understand the Lord's activities, and therefore such persons describe these activities as kalpana, mythology or imagination, because they are rascals and the lowest of men. Namam dushkritino moda prapadyante naradama. Such men cannot understand that the events described by Vyasadeva in the Puranas or other Shastras are not fictitious or imaginary, but factual. Krishna in his full unlimited potency here shows that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for although the two trees were so large and sturdy that even many elephants could not move them, Krishna as a child exhibited such extraordinary strength that they fell down with a great sound. From the very beginning, by killing Putana, Sakatasura and Trunavartasura, by causing the trees to fall and by showing the entire universe within his mouth, Krishna proved that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The lowest of men, modas, because of sinful activities, cannot understand this, but devotees can accept it without a doubt. Thus, the position of a devotee is different from that of a non-devotee. So here Prabhupada shows the supremacy of the Lord. He explains that how we should understand, like Prabhupada says, that why he has to write another version of Bhagavad Gita, which as it is, why he has to do. Because he says that there are so many interpretations. In the same way, like how we have to understand, like there are so many people who can claim that I am God. So here Prabhupada quotes the Lord's opulences and his pastimes. So one should understand that Lord has unlimited potency. And like even he started showing his pastimes as a baby. So many pastimes like killing of Putana, and now uprooting the two trees. Here Prabhupada says even elephants couldn't do. So Lord has all the 6 opulences. So here he showed the strength. Right? Yeah. So we should not fall into the trap of the so-called people who claim themselves that they are God. So we should have that intelligence. We should understand from the parampara, from our acharyas, and understand the supremacy of the Lord. So we should not fall into the trap of the so-called foolish people. Here Prabhupada clearly quotes who is a devotee and who is a non-devotee. He's proving that supremacy so that we understand the Lord's pastime, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leelas. Namah Parama Kalyana, Namah Parama Mangala, Vasudevaya Santaya, Yadunam Pataye Namaha. O supremely auspicious, we offer our respectful obeisances unto you, you who are the supreme good. O most famous descendant and controller of the Yadu dynasty, O son of Vasudeva, O most peaceful, let us offer our obeisances unto your lotus feet. The word Parama Kalyana is significant because Krishna, in any of his incarnations, appears in order to protect the sadhus, Paritranaya Sadhunam. The sadhus, saintly persons or devotees, are always harassed by non-devotees, and Krishna appears in his incarnations to give them relief. This is his first concern. If we study the history of Krishna's life, we shall find that for most of his life, he predominantly engaged in killing demons one after another. So here we can see how Krishna, when for what purpose he appears. So he always loves his devotees. How he descends to this material world, how he protects saintly persons, sadhus. So he always comes to give relief to the devotees, to the sadhus. So here Prabhupada says about the word Parama Kalyana, because he appears, I mean, if we see Lord, he is in the Golok, and no need for him to appear in this material world. He is out of the three modes. He is called Aguna. No gunas effect on him. But how much he cares for his devotees, how he protects. So he appears many incarnations to protect. That is the first priority, the reason for the Lord's appearance. So here Manigriva, Nalakuvara, they are glorifying the Lord. They are offering their respects to that Supreme Lord who always comes, descends, who always protects his devotees. Anujanihi now bhumams, tavanuchara kinkarau, darshanam now bhagavata, risher asid anugrahat. O Supreme Form, we are always servants of your servants, especially of Narada Muni. Now give us permission to leave for our home. It is by the grace and mercy of Narada Muni that we have been able to see you face to face. Unless delivered or blessed by devotee, one cannot realize that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye. According to this verse of Bhagavad Gita 7.3, there are so many siddhas or yogis who cannot understand Krishna. Instead, they misunderstand him. But if one takes shelter of a devotee descending from the parampara system of Narada, Swayambhu, Narada, Sembhu, one can then understand who is an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this age, many pseudo-incarnations are advertised simply for having exhibited some magical performances. But except for persons who are servants of Narada and other servants of Krishna, no one can understand who is God and who is not. This is confirmed by Narottam Das Thakura. Charya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Payeche Keva. No one is delivered from the material conception of life unless favored by a Vaishnava. Others can never understand either by speculation nor by any other bodily or mental gymnastics. So here they are glorifying Narada Muni. So how Narada Muni showered special mercy on both Manigriva and Nalakuvara, that they were given an opportunity to see the Lord face to face. So they're glorifying Supreme Lord, saying that they're servants of servants. Like we should always think of we should dasa anudasa, we should be servants of servants. So here they're also mentioning the same, that they are descendants of Narayan servants. So they're asking permission to leave, to go back. So they're glorifying Narada Muni by his special mercy only, that they are able to see the Lord face to face. It appears like Vaishnava association. So here we can clearly see that though it appeared as a punishment for both of them to be trees for hundreds of years, but that's a special mercy. Vaishnavas, how Vaishnavas offer their special mercy. So we should always be in association with Vaishnavas. So only then we can come out of this material conception of life. So we should always take shelter of a Vaishnava who is from the parampara. Here Prabhupada mentions how we are the descendants of Narada Muni, the parampara system. So we should always hear from the acharyas who are part of the parampara, like here Swayambhu, Narada and Shambhu, all these great Vaishnavas are specified So only through them we can understand who the Supreme Lord is. We should not, like some people show many magical performances, mystic yogis. So we should not fall into trap of those people. We should be servants of the Parampara system. And, that Narottam Das Thakur also quotes here. Unless we are favored, really, I remember hearing Bhagavatam, like especially if we take women, what Prabhupada mentions is we have women are considered as sinful. We have sinful tendencies. How if we see how Parikshit Maharaj was hearing Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami, we don't see any women sitting over there and listening. So generally for women it is given that they have to serve, they have to do their duties, they have to follow the dharma, and then they can take a life of a men, of a like a man in a next life. And then if they come in contact with a Vaishnava, they get to know about bhakti, they can get into devotion. It's not possible for women to hear Bhagavatam or to even recite or chant Hare Krishna mantra. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers are so compassionate. Prabhupada gave to everyone, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu followers, like we were also given the opportunity to hear Bhagavatam. So that Vaishnava association, I was remembering, only through that one can, I mean, they, go back to Godhead. Yeah, otherwise we cannot. So that's a special mercy and compassion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers. I think I'll stop over here. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Please forgive me if I spoke anything wrong, and correct. And please give any comments if you would like to. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, that was so beautiful. Such a wonderful class you gave. I really like the last point you made. Only through a Vaishnava's association we can get mercy. You connected it with how Narada Muni gave that, even punishment that he gave became a mercy to Nalakuvara and Manigriva. And then in the end, you connected how Prabhupada has given us that, he gave us, today we are able to read Bhagavatam, and you're giving a class on Bhagavatam, and we all are here listening. So it is so amazing. Because of Prabhupada, we are able to do this. We are so grateful to him. And nicely you set the background of the story and the prayers, beautiful prayers. 2 points I would like to highlight. In the beginning you said sometimes material opulence will become hindrance in bhakti. So that is a very important point, and for all of us to look out for, whether what we have is helping us go towards Krishna or away from Krishna. So that's something we need to consider. And a nice example of Prabhupada saying, you quoted how a person on top floor can't see what's happening down. So, sorry, can see, but someone in the bottom can't see. So we need mercy of a Vaishnava. We need spiritual master. We need devotees association. Only then can we progress in bhakti. And and then Lord appears. Lord is so merciful. He appears for his devotees' sake. That is his prime responsibility. That's why he comes. So wonderful, Mataji. This was a beautiful class. Prabhupada's purports are always so nice to read. No matter how many times we hear, it's always amazing to read. Yeah. With that, we conclude the program today, BhagavatSanga. Thank you all devotees for joining. Quick reminder, we have special program this weekend with Dinabandhu Prabhu. So we'll be sharing the details soon, this Saturday and Sunday. With that, we'll conclude.